Bar charts, bar graphs, bar plots, you name it. The probably most stunning visualization ever. Also the most useless one, so there's that, but hey, today I'm going to show you 3 ways on how to make this amazing visualization that you see now behind me. Once with an application like Flourish, the other 2 times with Matplotlib and Plotly in Python. So no code needed necessarily, you can also do it with Excel if you're not a code wizard. Okay guys, let's just start with how to make a racing bar plot. And what would be better to show this to you than using my all-time favorite topic in data science, programming languages. I mean, what would be more important than what programming language is gonna be the most popular programming language in 2025 and so on. And no surprise, it's of course gonna be Python, our favorite. Anyway, so here's the dataset for you. You can download this to CSV. I'll leave you the link here in the notebook. Let's just do this. So I loaded it already up here. You can see it somewhere. I loaded it and it looks a little bit like that one here. So we have a date. We have all the programming languages from Scala to Rust to Delphi Pascal, if you still know that one. And of course Python. And all in all, we have 210 programming languages and 1 date column. So for each year or each month, we got 1 value for how popular this programming language was at that time. Now, we can now show our racing bar plot in 3 different ways. As I told you, I'll show you 2 examples of how to do it with this data and 1 how to do it with different data. Anyway, to use this now with my personal favorite, this Flourish app, which I have to tell you, it just looks the coolest of all these options, even though it's not 100% Python. You have to transfer the dataset into a slightly different format. I'll just do this here now. And what you see, it started to look like this. And now what we need for our application Flourish, we need a language or like an item column where the name of the thing is in there. Then we need the date, then we need the 1 column for each date. And in this column we need the respective value this programming language here had at this specific point in time. This is slightly different than what we had above here, but the transformation shouldn't be too complicated, and just maybe read it on your own. Cool, what we can do is just kind of bash that into a CSV format, or there's actually an optional thing, and I really recommend it because Flourish supports it. You can saw these images of the programming languages on the racing bar chart, and the way you can do this is actually by just giving an additional column called image URL or something like this that points to some image or logo for this specific item, or in this case programming language. Since we are way too lazy to do this, I actually use the programmatic way. Now I finally did programmatic way to generate this image URL. The way I basically do it, I just look through Google here, take the first result and then return it for a given string. So what are we doing? We are basically, hey, here image URL, again a typo of course. We apply our lambda function, and basically what we're then doing here is we're looking here like Python, right? Python. And then we'll, I think, just take this image or some of these images. I'm not entirely sure how it works. It just kind of worked, and I never really gave too many, Anyway, there we go back in here. If this ever stops working for you, I don't know, in like 6 months or so, it is very possible, as I already wrote here, that Google changed this HTML class identifier. So be aware of that. If it doesn't work, it's not because the code is broken. It's very much just you can here, print soup, and then you have to look through what's written in there and just take randomly classes. At some point it will work. Anyway, now we got all of that going. Where was I? Here, start, go, bam. We'll have our function. This will take quite a bit of time because we have to iterate over each image, and this is or each programming language. We have 200 programming languages, and now once you've done that, you can export it. It's the same data set as above here, with the small difference that you have now an additional column image URL. Cool. Let's go to Flourish. I think I actually put the link here. Did I? Yes, I'm so smart. Cool, there we go. I already did one option of this exact visualization. Now, once you go to Flourish the first time, you have to create an account. It's a bit expensive if you really want to use it. If you are okay with publishing your data, this app is free. Or free, you can just publish the data and the visualization like I'm doing here, I guess, like free advertisement for them. And yeah, that's how you can use it. So you'll see they have a lot of different visualizations, just kinda, especially with these maps here, hard to do them in, you know, pure Python. If you have Tableau, that's fine, but without like some tool, it's gonna be a bit of a pain. And somewhere down here, this one would also be really cool, this like racing, sport racing visualizations, if you ever saw them, very similar, but we are going with the bar chart race as the topic of this video. Cool. And we go to data. Okay, let's just upload a file. I think you can do it like this, drag and drop, easy, import, bam, and the data is there. So rows were updated. Next, select the columns. Okay, cool. So what you have to do first is you can delete this one if it distracts you as me, because it's just the index and we forgot to you know, here for is being used by, oh god. And let's put this to B. Good. Now you can remove it. You can remove this column if it disturbs you. Anyway, we have now here our label column. This is the language, what you'll see on the bar plot. Then we have our values, which will be from B. So this is B, our first time index, up to, let me check here, HD. Okay. And then we don't have actually categories, because you could have like, I don't know, functional programming languages versus non-functional programming language. Anyway, and then you can have here your image links. This is this one. As you can see, one is actually empty, but that's also fine with the application. And voila, bam, here is your beautiful plot of how to go through time with different programming languages. Pretty much the same thing I showed you in the beginning, with the small difference that not all images are perfectly. I fixed some of the images then in, you know, like afterwards, because taking just the first random image from Google may not always look the visually most pleasing, but the bulk work is done with that little script I gave you before. Let's here maybe change a little bit the I don't know, the visualization options, such that you can see how to make it visually more pleasing. Or you can add here a text, here a title, most popular programming, else. That's okay for us today, right? Good. Now it's kind of optimized, this entire Flourish, for embedding it into websites, and that is especially cool because, I mean, you're writing articles, you're, I don't know, making reports on Confluence, or I don't know, sharing it in mostly the internet, really. And therefore, I think this tool really strikes kind of the nerve of what we need most of the time. And here you can just publish it. Good. Let's go back to our option number 2, and this time we'll do it with Matplotlib. It's a bit the same thing, it just looks a bit less nice, I would argue. Anyway, it's this time already in the right format, this let's say this data set that we got from Kaggle, and all we have to do is now set the index to date, such that it looks like this, and then the columns are the actual values and the rows are the, let's say, time points through time, yeah, the months. Then once you've done this, you can use this plugin here, bar chart race, to visualize it. Let's actually shortly go to their GitHub. There we go. And their GitHub here, you see it will look something like this. In a second, it takes some time to render, and it has a lot of options and different, I don't know, visualization hints how to do it. I don't think you can actually do it with images. And also, if you kind of compare it to the previous one, it may not look exactly as nice. But the big advantage here really is you can do it all alone with Python. It's completely open source, it's free. There are no like barriers stopping you from completely customizing this visualization. Also 680 stars on GitHub show you that it's a very popular tool. Good, let's go back. Is it already finished? Yes, it is. So I only visualize here the head 40 columns, as you can see, else it takes just ages to render. Yeah, if you have a bit more time, you can show the entire bar chart race. You have already seen it above with the Flourish visualization, so I guess there's no need to do this. Okay, finally, the new way. I mean, for those of you that love Plotly as much as I, you probably wonder why would anybody do this with Matplotlib. And that is exactly what this guy here thought that built this library. I don't know, this LC5415. Anyway, he's a good guy. He only has like 12 stars on GitHub. He deserves a bit more for what I'm about to show you. Good, it's this plugin we installed in the beginning, or this pip package we installed in the beginning. Bar chart, no, was it here? raceplotly.plots. Yeah, the data looks a bit different this time. I took actually his demo data, which is about crops, because I thought we'll probably have seen enough of programming languages until now. And what it needs to render it is an item column. So it just basically needs 3 columns and the values need to be next to each other. Yeah, this will look a bit more like, so what do we have here? The time column is the year here. So it's this one, then the value, and I think it's the item. So it's this column, this column, and this column. So it's already in the right format, and you just need like 3 columns and they're exactly in the way they should be. Good. Let's erase this just shortly. It's pretty much, I don't know, it's not entirely as nice as this one, because I mean here what you see when the positions change, it looks kind of nice. The same thing you see here, and this is one of the like lacking abilities here. The advantage, however, is again, it's in Plotly, you can completely customize it, you can, I don't know, put scatter plots on top of this, and it's probably a bit more functional than the other two. And you can combine it with your own stack of, let's say, visualizations. You can build it into Dash and all these things that may be very useful depending on your use case. Thank you very much. This was it with me again for the week. I hope you know now all the ways to make bar charts that raise themselves to the moon. Please subscribe and we'll see each other next week again.